CL 650 presents your source for leading-edge news and information on today's hottest products and services. This is Experts on Call.
Welcome to Experts on Call on CL 650. I'm Red Robinson. On Experts on Call today, we're talking to our resident appliance repair expert on everything you should know when it comes to appliances in your home. Now, in studio with me is a master of appliance knowledge and appliance repair. I say that with a smile because he's also a friend. A man with 50 years or more experience in the business. Welcome to our studios, Jack McIver. Jack, you maintain long-term customers like me by maintaining something we like to call a relationship of trust. Now, before we get to the story of Jack McIver of McIver's Appliances, let's get to know Jack. Now, how many years have I been a customer?
I've known you a long time, back in the late 60s and early 70s when you had an advertising agency with a fellow called Steve Verlack.
Right.
And I've been in the advertising arena for all those years. And then we did some work for you at your home in Deep Cove.
Right.
And then we also did some work for you when you moved to False Creek.
That's true. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I only advertise for people I believe in, and that's the truth. I won't take an ad because it's money. But, you know, you do wonderful work, Jack. Now, just let's go back to when you were a little kid. I could not believe this story. Is it true that you learned to pilot your first boat at the age of 5?
That is true. That was back in 1946 in a place called Seymour Inlet, which is about close to 400 miles up the coast on the mainland in Seymour Inlet. And my uncles owned one of the largest logging camps in British Columbia on floats. Everything was on the water.
Right.
And we moved up there after my dad came back from the war, and then he got left they were his brother-in-laws.
Right.
So he left there, and he got partnered up with two other guys with their own logging camp. So to run this boat back and forth to the A-frame, which was about a half a mile away, they taught me how to get the engine started and all that stuff. And I would run this myself. So in the morning, we'd head across to the A-frame, it's called.
Right.
And I'd drop them off. And then I'd pick them up for lunch and drop them off, and then I'd pick them up after work. So the fellow Axel Erickson, who was one of the partners, he had a regular bigger boat that was quite fast, but that was when I was about 6 or 6.5, and he kind of felt that my cousins at the big logging camp were kind of looking down on me. I didn't have a clue what was going on anyway. All I knew is you're going to show me how to run this big boat. So anyway, we worked at it, I don't know how long, but he got me so I was able to do it. And then the day we went over to the big camp, and I docked the boat and got off and with the stern line and tied it up, was with my cousin's mouths hanging open, was really something.
Well, my mouth would hang open too. That's amazing. You're a kid.
Yes.
You have a boat today?
Yes, I do. I've had it for 15 years. It's a 20-year-old boat, and I got it in 2011.
Who taught you how to navigate? That's a question I wanted to ask.
Oh, I worked on fish boats when I was young. I'd go out on gillnet boats, and then I worked on seiner boats, which are larger. And then I worked on tugboats and logging and booming and contract this and contract that. And I've always been a natural navigator. But this boat I have has all the bells and whistles, and it has television too.
And a depth finder.
Definitely. I've never had an insurance claim
Oh, good for you.
All the time I've owned the boats.
That's good. That's good stuff. I wanted to talk about your basic motto in business. That's a fantastic story, by the way. Now, some would say you have a strong moral compass. We talked about this, and that means your operating system is based on integrity, honesty, and customer satisfaction. And I would confirm all of that. But, what is it, your moral compass? Am I out of reach here with it? Or?
Well, what it boils down to basically is that as I got started in business in 1964, I'd never really been in the retail business. I'd had contracts and things here and there, different, searching for more money.
Right.
Kind of thing. And so at that time, all the appliances that were built were very, very high quality and had, 40 years, 50 years was not uncommon for appliances to last. So I grew up basically rebuilding these appliances and sometimes extending their life, which could be done
right
in those days. So nowadays, you have to have a moral compass, or you're going to be selling people products that fail prematurely.
Yeah.
In other words, they're going to sell 4 or 5 times more appliances in a life cycle than we were used to. And so I made it my business to work on older appliances and fix them up properly because they'll outlast the new ones.
That's amazing.
When they're rebuilt.
Yeah.
And then also the products that come now from most retailers are the substandard quality types. We are selling a washer and dryer that we know will last 30 and up to 40 years. And it's made in North America, in Ripon, Wisconsin, in the Speed Queen factory. And we are selling up to 40 a month of these products, and they have long guarantees, and the company is strong, and it's everything I like about company. But I'm going to tell you this: all the companies that I dealt with in all my past, GE, Westinghouse, Inglis, Amana, there's all kinds of companies that we dealt with that we sold. They were all like that. There was none of this not being moral people around. Everybody was straight up. Everything, warranties were good. Everything was good. It's a shame to what's happened.
Yeah, they cut corners. That's the problem.
So my way of thinking is, I'll just do it my way.
Right.
And some people say, well, I want to get this. I says, well, go ahead and buy it. But I can't agree with that. So anyway, that's my moral compass.
But truth in dealing with the customers, I've heard you. I have been a customer for a long time. Is that important? It is. It has to be.
Of course. I mean, the point is that when you go to a customer's home who's been a customer for, say, 20, 30 years,
right,
and they greet you with a smile,
right,
or if I'm over getting some gas at a service station, when a guy come over and say, oh, hi, Jack, how are you doing? I sure like my fridge or whatever. Or you did a great job fixing something, or it's in other words, it's a relationship with the people I deal with,
and you're gratified by it.
Of course I am.
Of course, that's incredible. And so, integrity is your moral compass, no doubt. I want to talk about the competition. I find them to be lazy, and I don't blame the people that are in the big box stores. But they sort of deal with you in a way of indifference, if you know what I mean.
Well, I call that situation in the big box stores, which basically they're part of the monopoly of Whirlpool and Frigidaire.
Right.
Because there are no small dealers around, because they won't sell the products to them at the right price.
Right.
So basically, they've been sort of pushed out of business. So that leaves the people shopping around, where can I find a company that's the way it used to be, the way things were done they used to be?
Right.
So their big problems are deliveries, installations. What they don't do themselves is done on contract. The contractors charge $300 to come and hook up a washer and dryer, and it's just outrageous what goes on with these contractors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's called divorcing themselves from any responsibility.
Yeah. Very good. Very well said.
That's about it.
And I'm sure most of our listeners have run into that sometime or another. No question.
Oh, you should come down to the store and listen to some of the tales of what goes on. People call us and say, "What can I do?"
I know. We're going to continue here, Jack. I have a bunch of other questions. I find your life story and your career story fascinating. You're listening to Experts on Call on CIL 650. I'm Red Robinson. Today we're talking appliances. So join us with Jack McIver of McIver's Appliances right after this.